Hey guys, so there's a lot of people concerned about the grand solar minimum and the possibility of a global famine happening because of that. I've looked at a lot of videos on how to get prepared for an upcoming famine, but none of those videos really um, sufficed, in my personal opinion. I don't think there are many videos out there that cover all the bases that you really need to know in order to prepare for a famine. And so that's why I'm making this video here, because I didn't see the topic covered adequately, in my own personal opinion. So I'm going to try to cover these things as quickly as possible. You might want to go ahead and get a pen, paper, and write these things down. I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to summarize the topics first, and then we're going to hit the bullet points, and we're going to go over each topic just a little bit, help you cover your bases as best as you can. All right. So first thing, leave a couple bullet points for each one. All right, for each topic. But I'm gonna say the topics right now, and I'll leave description in the I'll leave some information in the description box below, along with some videos, or I might even make a playlist to go along with this video so you can watch, and learn more, that more information I think you should know to prepare for this. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, 1, water. Okay. 2, carbohydrates. 3, proteins. 4, oils. 5, vitamin C. All right, and that fifth one, it's way up there. Should be up there with number 1. As far as importance. All right. So water, carbs, protein, oils or fat, and vitamin C. All right, now let's go ahead and hit water first. Water. So obviously you need water, but if you're a Christian like I am, and you read Bible prophecy, you know that a lot of water in the end is going to turn bitter, and people that drink it are going to die. So you got to know how to, and that could either be from a toxin, some kind of pollutant, or some kind of virus, bacteria, disease. So you got to cover those. You got to be able to take care of those things first. Best type of filter to get rid of toxins is going to be activated carbon. Activated carbon is the only type of filter that can get rid of most toxins. Okay. Same with a lot of chemicals, pollutants. So if there's a war and the water is sabotaged, they could dump something like dioxin in the water. And I'll leave a link to one of my videos on how to treat your water and your food if there's dioxin poison. But the easiest way to do it is to pour ethanol or alcohol in your water. That'll destroy the dioxin, or what's it called? I'm sorry, it just slipped my mind. Peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide will destroy it as well. Or you can use an ozone generator in your water, and the ozone generator will get out the dioxin. So that's one. Now, the other thing you want to be concerned about is nuclear fallout or nuclear radiation, and how you treat your water. Now, from the best I was able to find as far as treating water that has been contaminated with nuclear waste or anything nuclear, is I think it was peat moss. You'll have to look into that. Look further into that. It was peat moss, and if I'm not mistaken, styrofoam. You have to filter your water through styrofoam and or peat moss. Look further into that. I might be wrong. I'll leave some links down in the description box about that. So put a little asterisk next to that note and do some further research on it. Okay, so if you're in the desert like I am, you really want to have a map of the different water tables, like where the surface water is, or where the groundwater is closest to the surface, so that in the event that the water gets cut off, you can go to that area and dig a well, even if you have to use a shovel. You want to find a place that is probably no deeper than 20 or 25 feet, where you can go and dig a well. And, you know, if it comes down to it and the government tells you you're not allowed to do it, you know what I say to the, you know, federal government or the local government if they tell you that you can't get water, you know, read between the lines. So, so know where your water tables are, know where your rivers, lakes, creeks, reservoirs, things like that. And if those are off access, if you don't have access to any of that, then at the very least get a bunch of water or rain barrels so you can catch rain from your roof, you know, so you can get a cistern or whatever. You make a cistern, you know, put some gutters on your roof if you don't have them already, and then drain your water into a barrel. If you don't have the money for a sophisticated filtration system to put in there, then, you know, at the very least just catch the water, and then after you catch it, then treat it, filter it, you know. So okay, so that's the basics for water. All right, now let's talk about let's talk about carbohydrates. Now, if you're on an extreme budget like some people are, you know, you don't really have much money because you're out of work from the pandemic or whatever, you can knock out your carbohydrate requirements for a year for like $20. You go down to the one of the pet barn or pet food store or whatever, and you go and you get some sorghum, some red milo sorghum, and or some sweet corn. Now the sweet corn, it's like last time I checked, it was like $15 for, it was like 40 or 50 pounds of it. The red milo is like $10 for 50 pounds. So, you know, if you get one bag, that, you know, one bag of that stuff, you know, if you learn how to turn it into bread, you know, you're pretty much good to go. And then if you want to, you know, if you got more money, then I would recommend getting rice or oats. You know, I mean, the price of those Quaker oats has doubled, you know. So, you know, just that alone should tell you that we're in for a rough ride. I mean, when the price of Quaker oats goes from $2.50 to $5, something's going on. So, and it ain't just inflation. So anyways, go ahead and get yourself some oats. I would recommend, if you can afford it, go get some spelt. It's spelled S-P-E-L-T. It's a high protein grain. It's one of those ancient grains. Has a lot of gluten in it, I think. And so if you're gluten intolerant, you might want to stay away from it. But if you're not, then I would recommend that because it's also high in protein. So I'll leave some. I recommend a company called Food to Live. It's an American company, and they'll ship it right to your door. It's always organic, really good quality stuff. So I'll leave some links in the description box for that. So those are some ways to get your carbs out of the way. Now, next thing you want to do is get protein, and I would recommend, you know, lentils if you can afford it. Well, lentils will be cheap, but lentils are really high in protein. And don't get the ones that are cracked. Get the full seed ones, because if it comes down to it, most of the, especially if they're organic, if you buy the ones that's USDA organic, you can sprout them and you can grow them. And so that's a high protein, a high source of protein right there. And, you know, I don't personally like the flavor, but, you know, during a famine, it doesn't matter what it tastes like. It matters whether or not it's going to keep you alive. So lentils, preferably the ones that are organic that you can grow. They're very easy to sprout. I mean, I got them growing in my backyard already, and I mean, I just literally tossed them on the ground and they just sprouted right up. So anyways, so there's spelt, and then, you know, regular beans. You know, if you like beans, you can get all kinds of different beans. They're real good for protein, but it's not really going to be preferable. You want to get meat. So I would recommend that you go and you find a good source of eggs, whether you got to get your own chickens and get your own eggs out of the chat. That's another thing I would recommend you do, is just start raising chickens now. But you can still go to the grocery store and get a box of 50 eggs and go ahead and pickle those. You know, you don't want to rely on the electricity. You don't want to rely on your refrigerator running. So you need to learn how to pickle eggs. I'll leave some links in the description box on videos to teach you how to pickle your eggs. You know, you do a couple a couple of those boxes of 50 of them, you're set, man. You have, one egg a day. That's quite a bit of protein. You should be covered. That'll cover your bases. And then, you supplement that with hunting squirrels and pigeons and whatever. Just get a pellet gun if you can't, if you can't get a shotgun or whatever. Just get a pellet gun, a couple thousand pellets, and bait your backyard and then shoot the birds when they land. It is what it is, man. When there's a famine, you got to do what you got to do. So that's what I would recommend personally. You learn how to pickle eggs. You get a bunch of eggs and you pickle them. You set them aside. That's the cheapest way to do it, at least right now. So proteins. What else we got? Oils, fats and oils. Now you can get fats and oils, and you can render them down from pork lard and from beef lard. You go down to almost any butcher in the grocery store. You ask them if they throw away their fat scraps at the end of the day. I've done it before for making soap. They'll just give it to you, or they'll give it to you for a really, really big discount. There was, one time I had like 20 pounds of scrap fat, and I got it for like $2 or $3. I can't remember. It was some outrageous low price. They put it on a tray, wrapped it up real nice. They put how much it weighed on there, and it was like, 10 cents or 20 cents a pound or something like that. It's ridiculous, because normally they throw it away. So I would recommend you get that, you learn how to extract the oil and extract the fat out of it. You render it, and then you put it in a jar, and you put some salt on there or whatever. And if it goes bad, throw it away. It didn't really cost you anything, but it's an easy and cheap way to get fats and oils. And then you can use that. You cook with it. You put it on your toast or whatever, and that's a good way to get fats in your diet during a famine. Another thing I would recommend, preferably, especially if you can afford it, is extra virgin olive oil. Just get a bunch of it, and when you make your food, just sprinkle a little bit of that on your food, and that should cover the fats and the oils that you need. Olive oil is probably the best. Second best would probably be coconut oil, and then peanut oil. Peanut oil is going to be more affordable, but from what I understand, if you eat it a long term, it can eventually cause problems, but not as many problems as other oils like vegetable oils and canola oils. So those are the ones I would recommend. First and foremost, probably beef fat, and then olive oil, coconut oil, and then peanut oil. Okay, and so then what else we got? I think that's it. Oh, vitamin C. No, it's not it. Vitamin C, one of the most important ones you got to know. And why is vitamin C important? Now, you got to remember this. All right, during a famine, a lot of people are going to get sick and die because they don't have vitamin C. They don't have fresh foods, especially during a grand solar minimum, when fresh foods are not growing. If you can't get limes, you can't get fresh fruit or anything like that, you're going to die because you're not getting any vitamin C, and your collagen is going to break down. That's called scurvy. That's what sailors used to die from when they went on long trips. They used to die from scurvy because they didn't have any fresh food. They always had hardtack and fish and all that, but that wasn't enough. And so you want to learn how to get vitamin C. Either get a big thing of Tang, just get a bunch of Tang, or I would recommend, and this is the most preferable method to get your vitamin C that you need, is sauerkraut. Learn how to make sauerkraut. I'll leave a link in the description for that one. Sauerkraut, it has a lot of vitamin C, more than you need. But if you get the vitamin, if you are able to do that, then you'll be able to literally save people's lives just because you know how to make sauerkraut. And you got to get kosher salt for that. Go out in the grocery store right now and go get a bunch of kosher salts, just so that you can make the sauerkraut. And don't do like I did and buy lettuce. You got to make sauerkraut with cabbage. Don't try it with lettuce. It's nasty. Make it with cabbage. Okay, so make sure you do it with the right stuff. Make sure you do it with the kosher salt and with cabbage, and it's actually pretty good. I love putting it on my tuna. And that's another thing for the meat. Those little tuna packets or chicken packets. If you're gonna buy it, buy the chicken or the tuna that's in olive oil. Don't buy the one in water, because normally they're the same price anyways. So get the one that has the oils and the fats that you need. That way you're knocking out two birds with one stone. You get the one that's in olive oil, and then you don't have to buy as much olive oil. You've already got the olive oil. So there's that. And then all right. So other sources of vitamin C. We've got thyme, the spice, THYME, high in vitamin C. Guava, papaya, lime. What else we got? Broccoli, carrots. Carrots are pretty easy to grow. So is broccoli too, but I think broccoli needs quite a bit of sunlight. So that you might not be able to grow broccoli, but during a grand solar minimum, I think you might actually be able to grow carrots. But look into that. Carrots would be a good one. But yeah, limes don't grow everywhere. Oranges don't grow everywhere. So it's really important that you learn how to make sauerkraut. Oh, I almost forgot. Pine needle tea will save your life. If you can't make sauerkraut, or if you run out of sauerkraut, if the pine needles are still green, man, they're still good. You got to learn how to make pine needle tea the right way without destroying the vitamin C. You get the pine needles that I think it's the one that has there's like 5 needles on each one, and they're about that big, about as big as your middle finger, maybe a little bit bigger. And you bring the water up to a simmer, not to a full boil, just until the point where you start to see little bubbles coming up, and then maybe even some steam coming up off the top of the water. Then you put you want to cut up the needles real nice and thin, small. Put them in there. Put a bunch of them in there, and then that'll be good for vitamin C. You let it sit there, and then preferably distilled water. If you can do it in distilled water, that's the preferable method. Let it sit. Let the needles sit in that water for maybe a week or 2 weeks. Let the moon go through a full moon cycle once or twice, and it'll extract. The pool of the moon will extract the vitamin. Will also help the water extract the vitamin C out of the needles, and it's a high potent amount of vitamin C, man. I've had real bad sore throats and the flu and all that stuff. I've had some vitamin C sitting in water for it was 6 months at a time. I drank probably 3 ounces of that stuff, and I was fine the next day, man. It's powerful stuff. So don't forget it. Vitamin C is in the pine needles, and it can save your life. So if all else fails, and there's pine trees around, you need to know how to make the pine needle tea, because it could save your life. So there's one more thing I want to encourage everybody to get, and they're not really expensive either. Is a hand crank coffee grinder, a coffee grinder that has a hand crank. All right, they're real small, they're real lightweight, they fit in your backpack, and if you buy the corn, or if you buy sorghum, if you end up buying corn or sorghum from the pet store, just to save money, that hand crank coffee grinder can be your flour mill, and they work really, really well for that, and you can put it in your backpack, and you can take it with you if you're going somewhere, and all you got to do to make bread is get any seed from any kind of grass. You collect the seeds from the grass, put it in the coffee grinder, grind it up, and then you got flour. And you just do that a couple times until you got enough to make a decent loaf of bread. And I found the one I got, I just need 3 of them. I just need to do it 3 times, fill up the cup 3 times, and I can make good bread. I do that with my spelt. I buy the spelt from Food to Live, and it's really good. And so just keep in mind, if you're doing that outside, if the seeds are red or pink, don't don't eat the flour if the seeds are like a pinkish color, or if it looks like they got fungus on them. Don't use those, because it could kill you, or it could make you go crazy for a little while. So anyways, I tried to keep this video as short and succinct as possible, but I hope you got something out of this video, and give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Guys, I know there's a lot of stuff that we got to worry about, war, famine, economic collapse, but hey, if you have a good head on your shoulders, you ain't got to worry about any of that stuff, guys. So knowledge is power, and you got to have the will to survive. Don't give up. Keep pushing. As long as you got breath, you got hope. So check out the links in the description box below. I think I might make a playlist for this. So if there's a link for the playlist, go ahead and watch that playlist. It'll take you to probably James Townsend and quite a few of his videos that I think is important. You want to learn how to make what's called pocket soup. There's going to be a video in there about pocket soup. You want to make hardtack. You got to learn how to make hardtack. And you got to learn how to make sauerkraut. Those three, if you learn how to do those three things during the famine, you're going to be a very wealthy person, because people are going to come to you for a lot of stuff, especially if you know how to make wine and vinegar. Vinegar is probably going to be the most important thing when the refrigerators aren't working. The first thing you got to learn to make is wine, so that you can turn the wine into vinegar. And that's how you make really good vinegar. There's videos out there that tell you, how to make vinegar without making wine first. Don't do it. Don't do it that way. The proper way to do it is to make the wine first, and then make the vinegar out of the wine. It's sour wine. That's what vinegar is. It's wine that's gone sour. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and good luck. Good luck, guys. We're all in this together. Help out your neighbors.